Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Intel Extreme Masters Shenzhen qualifier as we enter Season 10 now of the Intel Extreme Masters, and we're going to start things off by finding out who the Europeans are going to be moving on to Shenzhen.
Yep, yesterday we had some Stage 1 qualifier action. A couple of great players made it to Stage 2. A couple of them were already invited. We've got a pretty exciting bracket. I actually just looked at it for the first time this morning because I kind of knew a couple of the players, but I didn't know all of them. And a lot of these matchups look good. You know, often when you look at a bracket like this, you're like, well, okay, we'll cast that game because the other games are kind of one-sided. But I looked at this like, well, there are 4, 5, 6 best of 3s here. I would love to cast, but we had to choose one.
Yes, we did. Let's actually take a look at the bracket to start things off here for today. And now, to note, it is a double elimination bracket. So if we scroll down here, you can see this small section, which obviously hasn't been filled in just yet, but it will over the course of today. And as you said as well, there are some amazing games here already. We're going to start things off with Uthermal versus Lilbow, which is up here. And one of the reasons why we take this is because actually it's a rematch from WCS Challenger in Season 2, where both of them have really risen up the ranks in the European scene as of late. Lilbow was able to be victorious in that season, in that match, and is now moving through here in WCS.
Yep, he is, but I also looked at that series and I kind of felt that was an underwhelming performance by Uthermal. I know how good he can be. Of course, I'm a little bit biased because he's a fellow Dutchie and I want to see my fellow Dutch players do well. But I know that he can be extremely good in this matchup. And every now and then when I watch popular streamers, you know, name it Naniwa, Mana, I see them go up against Uthermal. I see Uthermal slaughter them quite often because he's really solid in this matchup. And I asked him about that series as well. He's like, yeah. He's like, I actually don't know what happened. You know, every now and then a player has an off day. And he's like, I practiced a lot for that series. I was supposed to do well. But when I actually started the games, I just felt like I didn't know what I was doing. Everything felt a little bit off. And I can do so much better, but it just, you know, it didn't come out that day. So let's see if that was right. You know, let's see if that was true, if he's going to be able to do a lot better today against the man who will be playing in Toronto in, well, that's like less than 2 weeks from now on, right?
Yeah.
Well, 2 weeks pretty much.
Yeah, very, very close. And it's going to be a lot of fun, Toronto, obviously.
Sick.
Last time I was there, we were there for the Intel Extreme Masters. I was about to say a particular name. It was like Toronto, obviously. And then you were you there for that?
No,
you
I wasn't.
You were there for the
NESL Season 3, and I was also there for WCS Season 3 in 2014, which was a legendary event.
Yep, they were very, very good. So looking forward to going back there once again. To start this best of 3 off, we're going to be on Iron Fortress to start things here between Uthermal and Lilbow. Everything, I believe, is a best of 3, all the way to the finals, and 2 people will be advancing on to Shenzhen. So basically the winner of the upper bracket and then the eventual winner of the lower bracket.
That's 2, James.
Yep, that is 2.
There's one from the top, one from the bottom. We'll get 2. Should be really fun. I've always enjoyed casting qualifiers like this. It's been a while, you know. I've done a couple of them in North America together with my long-lost Terran brother Nate, who I'm sure will be casting some of the North American action later this week. But for now, we're going to kick these European qualifier off. James, it's been a while. I feel so out of my element. You just take it away.
Thank you very much, man. All right, let's get into things. Iron Fortress, game number 1 here to start the qualifiers off, as we have spawning down to the bottom right-hand corner is our blue Terran. It is Uthermal for AT Gaming. And up to the top right-hand corner, we have our red Protoss representing Team Millennium. It is Lilbow, who's really become a star as of late here in Europe.
Yeah, he's such a cool little guy as well. He's a very cool, fun character in a European scene. The first time I met him, I didn't really know what to think about him. Because I don't know, it's really hard to explain Lilbow's personality. It looked like he doesn't care. Sometimes he's sarcastic, and it's really hard to say whether or not you think he's joking. He's like, did he just offend me? Or, you know, but he just seems like a very cool, calm guy. But definitely shows some emotion when he wins. Like, you can see that he is very invested into the game. He's been practicing a ridiculous amount together with Marine Lord in that house. I think out of those 2, Lilbow is even the harder worker. How we often make jokes about being a hashtag hard-working Protoss, but I truly think that Lilbow is one of those guys. And I look forward to this series, man, especially because I'm really starting to get more into playing again as well after taking a small hiatus of 2 weeks of traveling and trying to start off a poker career, of which I've already retired off after 2 days.
Wow.
So I know, James, that's how well it went. So, but whenever I play, I struggle quite a bit against Terrans. Well, I don't even play against Terrans that are as good as Uthermal, but even against Terrans that are slightly worse, I'm truly interested to see how Lilbow is going to approach his best of 3 and where he will, you know, perhaps skip a step or two, because I feel as a Prodigy you
Yeah.
can't really be safe against everything, or at least not try to deal in everything in the most optimal meta. So sometimes you have to cut a corner or two, and I'm curious to see which corners that will be for him.
A lot of Uthermals play against Lilbow in the Challenger games that we saw from him, albeit a little while ago, was very heavily focused about those Widowmine drops to start things off and to really try and put pressure on him. But Lilbow, even throughout that series, really kind of diversified himself to actually be able to deal with it. Is Widowmine drop something that we can see on a map like IEM Fortress here? What's the go-to here for Uthermal?
It's definitely possible, because I mean, this is a relatively good map for it. Even if you don't drop in the mineral line, you can drop on top of the ramp, and that can be quite frustrating for a Protoss player to deal with already, because sometimes your observer is not out yet. Some Protoss players, including myself, like to, you know, take that shortcut and go for a fortress. And man, he just gets that SCV and plants the Nexus down at 345. That is actually really nice, being able to get the Nexus down as quick as possible. I always think it's worth it for a Terran to eBay block, even when they start the Zealot, because then by the time that the Reaper shows up there, that's when the eBay gets cancelled, but then the Reaper can pick off the probe. And I truly hate it when Terrans do that against me, but Uthermal seems to disagree, and he does otherwise.
Nope, Reaper's going to jump on in, and unfortunately for it, can't really do too much at all. Mothership Core will push that back. At least he gets confirmation completely of the Nexus.
It might actually be a Hellion opening over here, because he has a very quick reactor on his barracks. I'm not saying it will be for sure. I don't think this is the greatest map for Hellions either. But it is technically possible. I do like to give a small shout out to the SimCity that Lilbow has going for himself. Makes it really hard for the Reaper to swing all the way in. For some reason, that's something I never do, and I think a lot of Protoss players don't really put a whole lot of thought into it. But this forces the Reaper to kill itself if it actually wants to see what's being produced in the back of Lilbow's base.
Yeah, exactly, because he knows where the pylon is at the back, and you know he's tried to scout out the left-hand pylon, saw nothing there. So now he knows where the tech is. He just doesn't know how to get there. Unfortunately, it's a bit of a brutal situation there for our Terran. And behind all of this, as I say, we do have actually the Widowmine is in production here for Uthermal. So, I mean, that's kind of what we're expecting. And he manages to find the starport up towards the top. So, he's got some good eyes.
Yeah, it's funny, you know, because Stargate openers is truly something that is... Protoss players either love it or they hate it. There isn't really in between. It really comes down to style. And it seems like Lilbow is a Protoss that likes it quite a bit. I think Uthermal is also very well aware of the fact that Lilbow likes his opening. I think scouting it doesn't surprise him that much. I think he knows what he has to worry about for now. What I am always very worried about is if I open up with an Oracle is that my Oracle flies into a Widowmine. And if that happens, you know, then you're just in such an horrendous position, because then you don't really have any mobile detection anymore. Lilbow has to be so extremely careful with this Oracle, because if he loses it, well, things are going to get very bad for him very quickly.
Right now he's negating the fact that first Widowmine is in the natural mineral line, and he will be able to shoot that away with just the Marines alone. So Lilbow playing very, very defensively with the Oracle. Doesn't really want to sacrifice it or even go too far.
I think that's smart, you know. I often tell people as well, you know, an Oracle that stays alive but hasn't killed anything, or maybe kills 1 or 2 workers, is way better than an Oracle that killed 6 or 7 workers but dies. You know, like killing 6 or 7 workers is phenomenal, but if you lose the Oracle, you're forced to remake one. Okay, maybe 7 is a little bit of a stretch, but let's say, you know, killing 3 workers and surviving with the Oracle is way better than killing 6 workers but losing the Oracle.
Yeah, yeah. You can use it later on for so much. I mean, you can keep an eyes on what your opponent's up to, even revelations on medevacs to know when they're going to drop left or right in the mid-game. It denies a big window of time where they really can't do a whole lot.
Who do you like in this series, James? Who do you think is going to take it?
I probably think I'd lean towards Lilbow. I think he's been looking really, really good as of late. No offense to, obviously, your Dutchy friend.
Well, I am a little bit offended right now.
But I think Lilbow's got a really good shot here. He looked good in his Challenger game versus Uthermal. I think he's looked good throughout his WCS run so far. And I'm expecting great things of him even in WCS, never mind this qualifier.
Yeah, it's a very promising group. I remember that. I kind of forgot which are the other 3 players in this group, but I think it's Igas is in the group as well.
I think so.
And then I think one of the other, maybe the Chinese player. We'll take a look at it. We can talk a little bit about WCS, but this shouldn't take much longer. Lilbow says go, and Uthermal is good to continue this series as well. What's interesting, by the way, is that there is a Phoenix as follow-up over here for Lilbow. And that, I think, is something that's still a little bit unusual. Of course, you'll see it quite often in PvTs these days. I'm also amazed by the work count, by the way. 40 against 28. Why do I never have 40 against 28 workers in my games?
Not enough chrono boost, man. Not enough chrono boost. He actually managed to not spot that medevac by a slither, just a small hair. It was out of that position. But then again, second Phoenix comes along and completely finds it anyway. He's even producing more Phoenix.
Oh, that is a great pickup, man. Phoenixes are
Yeah.
very expensive. Killing one Phoenix in this phase in the game is great because Lilbow doesn't really have a whole lot of units. He has a mothership core, he has 2 gateway units, he has now 2 Phoenixes again. I'm so surprised by this heavy Phoenix thing that he's going for. Man, a very early photon overcharge there. I'm not sure if I like that.
Phoenix Colossus going to be the recipe of the day by the looks of things here for Lilbow, and it can have a lot of power behind it, but at the same time, I mean, are there any kind of weaknesses that Terran here can exploit from this?
I think it's going to be quite difficult for Lilbow to go up to 3 bases. He drops 2 mines out of that. That is an interesting position. I think he's trying to lure those Phoenixes into it. Of course, he wants to get a shot off, and I think he might... Ooh, that was so close. I think he was almost in range of shooting at that Oracle there. I must say, Lilbow is handling this so well, and his work account is ridiculous. He's on 50 probes against 36 of the Uthermal. Like, I never have this, ever. Oh my god, that Widowmine just killed... There was a Widowmine in the main base, James, and that just killed 7 probes.
Oh, damn. Sorry about that. But yeah, I've been a little bit off. I haven't had to observe for a while, so... But that's pretty darn good, and he might even do a little bit more at the natural as well. That being said, though, all of the probes that he's getting killed off, is it enough to really tie this up? I mean, it's still 45 workers to 40.
Yeah, no, I actually think this is good enough. Now they're within 5 works from each other. Another Phoenix died over there, so that's the second Phoenix that has gone down in this game. Double photon overcharge has been activated up. Well, just a single one. That mine is still alive in the main base, by the way. I think it shot again.
Oh,
he
wow.
killed... Oh my god, did he kill 7 again? No way.
I think he killed 4. There was a few kills at the natural. So...
Oh yeah, you're right.
But still, it's big damage. Big damage. He'll finally clean this up. Yeah, double forge goes down in range of that Widowmine, mind you. So Uthermal knows completely the follow-up.
I understand the double forge right here because Lilbow knows that there's no way that he can defend 3 bases at once right now. He has already lost a couple of very expensive units. He doesn't really have a whole lot of vision. Like, I think something that people very often forget is when they watch a game of StarCraft 2, it's like, oh, he can go up to 3 bases. But if you take a look at Lilbow's vision right now, like, do you really want to go up to 3 bases like this when the only map presence you have is like 2 Phoenixes? You have no idea where the units are. You have no idea where the medevacs are coming from. You don't have any observers in position whatsoever. There's no way you want to go up to 3 bases on the map like Iron Fortress, which is already so wide open. So then he's just going to go double forge and he's going to stay defensive on 2 bases for quite a while.
Yep. 6 extra gateways are added on actually here by Lilbow. So he's going to have a fantastic set of production here pretty soon to actually try and, well, probably stabilize and go over towards that 3rd base. But at the same time, Uthermal is in a great spot here, moving into the mid-game.
Like, this is one of these games where Uthermal's catching a lot of momentum very early on in his very first game. Boom. Oh my god, he kills the Observer as well! I hate... Oh my god, Lilbow is so mad right now.
Yeah.
I can't even express to you guys. If this happens to me, I would probably leave. And then you would say, like, well, you would never leave in an official tournament game, would you? I probably would, James. That's how mad this would make me.
I was expecting him to just go over there and pick it up, and then wait for some units to come along and deal with it, but no. So Lilbow a little bit off, unfortunately for him at the start of this game.
Uthermal has to be a little bit careful there because this is not his entire army. He's just running around. Time warp going down. That's... I'm not sure how I feel about that either. I feel that photon overcharge is something he could definitely use if he wants to go up to 3 bases. Picks up one more Marauder there, and he will be able to pick that one up. That was nice for Lilbow. He got a reasonable trade there with his Colossus.
Looks like he's just going to go. With what he's got set up, he's not producing any more probes. He's got pylons on the way down towards the bottom here.
He has no forges. You said double forge was going up.
Oh, did he? Oh, it was gateways. Oh, why did I think it was forges? Yeah, I was wrong. Sorry.
Damn it, James. I trusted you. You betrayed me.
Ignore me. Ignore me. Okay, a bit rusty. But at the same time, I mean, he's got 3 Colossi against no Viking, so he needs a good flank.
He has no observer with his army. Does he have an observer on the map? Yeah, 1. Where is it?
It's
defensive.
Yeah.
Okay, well, good luck then.
Is this a fake out? I mean, half of his army isn't even there.
No, it's definitely not a fake. Oh, he gets 2 shots up there. Man, that hallucinated Phoenix was supposed to be the one. He was supposed to soak up a shot. Man, what a great job there by Uthermal, using all these Widow Mines, making it just impossible for Lilbow to really commit to this as much as he wants to.
The extra warpins coming in here, and he needs to use these Colossi effectively. He's going to try and get on top of them with the majority of that bio, and he manages to get one of the Colossi. He'll get a second one. Here comes the flank as well. Cleaning up all of the Colossi is pretty good, but He doesn't have that much left.
No, but this is game-ending damage. There's no way that gateway units are going to win this game over here for Lilbow, in my opinion. I think Uthermal has pretty much won it. Well, that's a lot of Stalkers there, but these Stalkers don't have Blink.
Yeah.
So all you need, you just pull SCVs. Even if he ends up losing 20, 30 SCVs here, I still believe Uthermal is fine. He has to just hold on one more time. I must say, he's running really low on units, but I still think, James, I still believe in the power of Terran over here.
Yeah, all these Stalkers going to be able to do much without Blink. He needs the extra Warpins to come along here to this Lilbow. He's got so much money in the bank, this Lilbow. If he had maybe a Colossus reinforcing with this, then it might go okay, but...
He has a ridiculous amount of Stalkers, but I mean, there's no way that the Terran army should lose against unupgraded Stalkers with no Blink. Like, that doesn't happen, not even in my wildest dreams. Right, James, right?
Going to try and focus down the Marauders here, cut down some of the damage that's actually coming in against these Stalkers. The Marines aren't going to do as much, but even then, with extra stimmed units coming in here with these Marauders, are going to chase this back.
I must say, this is still looking like quite
close.
The Marauder count is looking so low. These Stalkers are so weak. It's definitely now or never right now for Lilbow. They're even in army supply, but it doesn't feel like it, because all I see is Stalkers, and I see almost no Marauders. A couple of Vikings are pushing out a little bit of extra damage. He's doing a really good job in sniping the Marauders, but every Marauder that comes out poses such a huge threat to these Stalkers.
Yeah, and the economies aren't even that different, to be honest. He pulled off the SCVs, yes, but now they go back to work, and it's still 48 workers against 49. And finds the third base. This is desperation times here for Lilbow, because, as you said, with these Stalkers, with no upgrades, with no Blink, it's going to be difficult.
Yeah, there is no such thing as a transition right now for a Protoss. Some people might think, like, he killed a lot of SUVs, maybe he should back off, but he doesn't have a Forge, he doesn't have Blink. Like, there's just no way you can transition out of this. It has to happen right here and right now. Very good job on Uthermal, pulling the SUVs once more, and I think this time it's going to be the SUV sandwich is real.
Yeah, they're coming in from the back, going to get up against all of this, and the Marines and Marauders from the back, as well as the front even, are going to be just totally fine and actually cleaning all of this up. Lilbow has started a Colossus, but it's not really going to do a whole lot. Yeah,
that is a desperation Colossus. He did kill, once again, like 12 more workers, or 12 additional workers, I'm trying to say. He has killed close to 50 workers in this game. If you take a look at Control R, that is a stunning amount, but these Terrans that are as good as Uthermal, they always do a phenomenal job in just building SCVs over and over again. So even if they lose 15, 20 workers, they will still be quite even with you. Right now, Lilbow is 10 workers ahead, but that doesn't really mean anything against triple orbital command Terran, especially not when there is stimmed bio on the field, which also has +1 attack upgrade. Lilbow doesn't even have a mothership core. He has like no observers anymore. Maybe he has 1. He has 0. Well, yeah, I wouldn't want to be the Protoss right now.
I mean, is Lilbow just going to do this again? Is he just going to go again with extra Colossi and hope?
Yeah, it's like a desperation push, you know. You make like 2 or 3 Colossus, you make a few sentries, and you hope that the Terran does something horribly wrong. Like, for instance, right now, Uthermal should never fight here. If he wins the game, that doesn't really matter, but there is no need for him to fight here. It's triple orbital against the 2-base Protoss that is not transitioning into anything, that has a weak army. He does know there is no observer over there, so it's kind of tricky to engage this army for Lilbow, but Uthermal should really not overextend there. That would be like the silliest thing to do of all time. Just sit back, macro up. You're outmining the Protoss severely. Take a look at the mineral count. It's 1700 a minute against 900. Like, the ball is in Lilbow's corner, not the other way around.
Yeah, with only 2 Colossi, well, I mean, with 2 Colossi there against only 2 Vikings on the field at that point, there was definitely no reason to go in there. If he doesn't have the firepower to gun down those Colossi whenever he needs to, it's like,
things can go wrong.
Yeah.
We remember Hero Marine against Mana, right, on this map?
Yes, we do.
I mean, we had a couple of juicy icons in the mix as well, but the moral of the story is the same. Like, it doesn't really matter how much bio there is. If you have 3 or 4 Colossus and they can do their damage, the dream is alive for a Protoss. Lilbow is down 12 army supply. He has 2 Colossus, or is it 3? No, just 2. Only 5 Vikings, but Vikings being produced 3 at a time. I believe that Uthermal is more than fine over here.
Yeah, seems so. Seems so.
Cute move with the Wintermine there, on burrowing against the hallucinated Phoenix.
Oh, nicely done. And we'll see now if Lilbow can do much with this. Guardian Shield's been gone up. And he's trying to separate this. This is a really nice concave here from Uthermal to greet this army as quickly as possible. Second Guardian Shield on the right-hand side, trying to soak some damage for these Zealots at the front. But there's so much Bioforce here.
Yep, there are so many bio units, and these bio units are so much stronger than this very weak, upgraded Protoss army. The Colossus will fall, the Stalkers will fall, and GG is called. The Dutch Terran player, sorry, I had to put the emphasis on Dutch there, takes the first game of the day on Iron Fortress. Solid. Sloppy game by Lilbow, though.
Yeah, I was expecting a bit more from him. I kind of have to eat my words in saying that, I thought Lilbow was going to do really well, and unfortunately in that game, it kind of fell really flat on its face. There were those kind of moments where maybe it's, you know, one of the first games of the day, he's trying to get into the swing of things, and it looked a little bit off.
Yeah, no, I mean, there was one Widowmine in the main base that we missed, unfortunately, but it killed 7 probes. That was not like the end of the world, but that is great, of course, for a Terran. But then not to forget that Phoenix that died against Marines. Like, that is something that's completely unacceptable. That's 250 resources, like 150 minerals, 100 gas. In that phase in the game against unupgraded Marines that don't have stim or any upgrades whatsoever, you can't lose a unit as expensive as the Phoenix in that phase in the game. And then, you know, a few minor things when the Phoenix flew to the middle mine and then he's like, oh, there's a Widowmine, let's fly to the Observer, and then the Observer dies, and like, as a Protoss in that moment, you're just like, oh, FML, like, this is just, okay, this game is not my game. He made it a little closer than I thought it was going to be. If those Stalkers had blinked, the game would have probably been over, but of course, you're talking about different timings then. That's a hypothetical scenario. That doesn't really matter. What does matter is that Uthermal picks up the first game of the day, and he can feel quite good about that game.
Yeah, I think so as well. I mean, like, as much as Lilbow, you know, did some things wrong, Uthermal didn't do much wrong at all. He was playing well. He was pretty sturdy, pretty stable there, and was able to deal with it nicely. I genuinely thought he was just going to fly over there with that Phoenix, having spotted it with the Observer, and just pick it up. But, you know, those kinds of small things do get under your skin a little bit.
I must say, I am still surprised though. Like, if you look at a Master League Protoss, or you look at a High Master League Protoss, and then you look at a mid GM Protoss, and then you look at Lilbow. The most simple thing in the game has always been building workers, and every StarCraft player knows, like, yeah, you have to build a lot of workers, pay attention to your economy, yada, yada, yada. We know the drill. But the fact that he can be up 14 workers before the first attack hits, like, that actually blows my mind. Like, it should be something as easy as just chrono boosting out workers over and over again, but that these guys have the confidence to just do that all the time while not really having a whole lot of map vision or map presence, that's very impressive.
Yeah, it definitely is. Let's get into game number 2. Here, Cactus Valley will be our map, as we have spawning. Down to the bottom right-hand corner, it is our blue pro... let me restart. It's our blue Terran, bottom right-hand corner, it is Uthermal. And down to the bottom left-hand corner, we have our red Protoss. It is Millennium's Lilbow.
Now, Cactus Valley, I think, is an absolutely phenomenal map for Uthermal. I remember there was one series in WCS Run of 32 where Lilbow played on Cactus as well, and I was just like, what? Like, this guy actually wants to play on Cactus Valley. You have 2 vetoes that you veto Inferno pools. Of course, I understand that, because that map is absolutely atrocious for Protoss. But Cactus Valley, it's so difficult. I don't even know where medevacs are coming from. Like, I know there is no airspace on the south side of your main base, but I feel there is when I play on this map, because it's just like medevacs are flying in 360 degrees from different angles. It's so damn difficult to deal with it all. And that game, I was so curious to see how Lilbow was going to deal with it. And then I think the Terran that was Igus, but you guys can of course correct me if I'm mistaken on Twitter, but I'm pretty sure it was Igus who, no, it was that other Terran. Who was that other Terran? He just randomly dropped 6 Rexes. Ah, it was Eastern.
Oh.
Who was the Terran in Run of 32? I am going to figure this out before this game ends without going to Wikipedia or Wikipedia.
Good luck. I can't remember.
We had a cool Terran, I think from Eastern Europe, who hasn't been here in a while.
A cool Terran from Eastern Europe.
It wasn't that. Okay, you just go ahead and talk about this game, and I'm going to figure this out.
Okay, all right.
Because I can't live with myself if I don't remember this.
Well, already Lilbow's going to set himself up the little wall with a small little choke in here, just in case Reapers are to come along and try and spot things behind the wall. But Uthermal already racing up towards his factory, so we could quite easily see him go down the same path again. Alternatively, he could go for aliens if he really wants to, but his Widowmine drops have been something that have served him very, very well in the past.
Sorry, I'm giving up. I'm actually alt-tabbing right now to figure this out, because this is driving me insane. Who was the Terran?
Kelazor, maybe? No.
Yeah, it was Kelazor. Damn it, that's not exactly Eastern Europe, but...
Congratulations, Brazil.
Brazil is big, but it's not that big that it stretches all the way to Eastern Europe. Anyways, it was Kelazor, but yeah, Kelazor randomly went for this crazy 5 or 6 Rex. He was spawning on the left top and Lilbow on the left bottom. And then I felt like he just made life a lot easier on Lilbow, because he went 5 Rexes. Obviously, the medevac aggression started so much later. And Lilbow did have phenomenal observer positioning, phenomenal pylon spread around the map. I know those things sound, you know, as basic as counting to 3, but For some reason, whenever I do that, I lose all my pylons over and over again. But he was always able to keep them alive. You know, they served as mini Zelnaga watchtowers, basically. So let's see how it's going to go this time, because I love Kalazur, but I feel that Uthermal's TvP should be on another level compared to Kalazur. Kalazur is really good in TVZ, and I think even his TVT is pretty damn spot on. But TVP, I feel that he's a little wonky, while I feel Uthermal is a little better straight up. He's actually going gas first, by the way, this time. So his Wither Mines are going to be in the main base of Lilbow very quick. But if he doesn't do a lot of damage with this, well, he's going to have a very rough time, because Lilbow was already 14 workers ahead against Repair Expand into Factory. Imagine the amount of workers he will be ahead against the gas first.
Yeah, always one of the scarier places to go up against Protoss, as you have the Widow Mine behind the command center. He's actually going to reposition it by the looks of things.
Now, I think like if you go for this build, I think you will start attacking before the Oracle is even in your main base.
Yeah, that's true. That's a really good point, actually, with how it lines up against this one. So Hellions are at the front as well. They do have the advantage of, because there's no ramp that they have to bust up into the natural, that they can actually put on some pressure at the front. But you can even just see it going and being kind of ferried in slowly into the main.
So this is just going to be madness over here, right? Because the Oracle is going to have free reign in the main base of the Protoss, but at the same time, the Protoss has absolutely no detection and almost no units against this Widow Mine drop.
Oh, and no vision.
So, but yeah, no vision either. So both players are just going to do a lot of economic damage. I know Widow Mine is about to pop in the main base of Uthermal, so it's very hard to figure out, okay, he's going to pull the Oracle back. That's very smart, I guess, but it will still allow Uthermal to do quite some damage. He kills the Stalker immediately, well done, but he needs to do more than killing a Stalker. He needs probe kills.
And the Marines are going to have to dance on back there. Photon Overcharge been activated, and there's actually nothing protecting this mineral line in the natural. Here comes the Oracle, though, as well as the Phoenix can push this away, and the Phoenix can just continue on as long as the Marines don't... Wait, I think he could kill everything here, right?
He's going to drop everything right now. I mean...
But then he gets zapped.
Yeah, but he's like letting the energy drain for as long as possible.
Yeah.
Come on, drop, you're playing with fire. Oh my god.
I think he knows that if they drop down, those Marines are just going to get gutted.
It's very well done, because now the Oracle's pretty much out of energy. There's such a high level little play over here by Uthermal, who could have lost indeed everything, but now in the end he only lost 2 Marines in a medevac. Very well done. There's still a Widow Mine as well that actually just killed the probe in the main base.
Oh, man.
I was getting very excited. It's like, where's the Widow Mine? Kill the probe in transit.
Here come the Hellions again, and to try and do a little bit more damage. How much has he got so far? 9 workers gone down. But again, you know, kind of had to do this because, of course, he didn't have the second command center in place.
Yeah. Yeah, the second CC is very late. And he even built it on the high ground. Didn't want to build it on the low ground. So, explosive opening over here on Cactus Valley, and I feel like it went quite well for Uthermal. Like, it's not only the damage that he did, and of course he lost a little bit on the other side of the map. I feel everything on his side. Where did his probes go?
I think there's a misrally somewhere. It must be the main nexus.
The small one.
Yeah, and now he's fixed it, so it's all good.
Yeah, but that still sucks though, because Lilbow really needs every single bit of income that he can currently get, because, you know, he's supposed to be economically ahead. But what I like about Uthermal's position is that absolutely nothing has happened on his side of the map, and that is always a good place to be in StarCraft 2. When all the big things are happening on the other side of the map, no matter how well your opponent may defend, as long as you can do your thing completely uncontested on your side of the map, you should be doing all right.
Yeah, completely agree, completely agree. He's basically felt very, very free over on his side of the map, and 32 workers at the moment for 42. Mules do okay in terms of evening up that a little bit.
I'm not too surprised to see Lilbow actually going for Phoenixes over here. I was talking a little bit about with Pili, the North American Protoss, who recently got partnered, by the way, on Twitch. Congratulations, Pili. And he said, like, man, this map against Terran, he's like, I play Phoenix or I go 7-gate all in. Otherwise, it's borderline impossible. So he did kind of, you know, share the opinion with me that it is very difficult for Protoss to play a very standard, straight-up game over here. But of course, Phoenixes is one of these unit compositions that do allow you to deal with crazy medevac plays on massive maps like this.
Yeah, he's just going to Chrono Boost out a Blink now as well. Here is Lilbow, so he's going into a much longer kind of game plan, or at least going to have a little extra tool. He could technically go for the same build, but just with Blink added on.
I kind of think that is the case over here, Kolaris, because he doesn't have a Forge. He's not giving us the idea that he wants to drop a Forge anytime soon. He's not giving us the idea that he wants to build more workers, like going up to 55, 58 workers, so by the time he goes up to 3 bases, he can saturate it immediately. No, he pretty much stopped building work. Well, he's sending out the probe right now to the north side. I feel like that's just to avoid...
Yeah, going the long way around. Throw down pylons over there and eventually kind of do something.
I think a scan just went down somewhere. What did he see?
We saw the natural. Not much in it at all,
There's absolutely nothing in the natural. He's like, well, I saw probes.
Yeah, great.
Like, I'd be really worried if I scan and I don't see probes. It's like, man, what is he doing? He's pulling the probes! Evacuate.
Well, here comes another medevac with 2 Widow Mines in it. There was the Revelation thrown down in the main base, but that doesn't really give too much of an indication as to what Uthermal's up to.
Yeah, you have to be careful by using all of your energy. Well, he does have an observer as well. Actually, it doesn't matter that much. I'm not sure how I feel about this push of Uthermal. I feel it's going to arrive so damn late that I'm not sure if it's going to work. But, you know, right now the Viking count is completely non-existent. And one would say that having Vikings against 3 Colossus is a pretty useful toy to have.
Oh, nice pickup on those Widow Mines and making sure that they cannot burrow. I mean, I don't think they would have been able to burrow even with the damage without drilling claws anyway, but may as well make sure.
Yeah, but at least, despite losing those 2 Widow Mines and losing that medevac, now he knows what he's up against. What are you going to do, Uthermal? Like, you need a second start. But he's actually going up to 3 bases. I don't really understand this. He should have realized that he's playing against an insane amount of gateway units, and there is no third Nexus going down anywhere.
He lost 3 medevac.
I think Uthermal's going to die over here.
Yeah, this is going to be very, very difficult to hold on against. Are we at 3 Colossi now? Yeah, we're at 3 Colossi. So, what does he have against that? No Vikings. This isn't going to go well, Rotterdam.
No, there is an observer on top of this army as well, so these Widow Mines won't be able to shoot this time. Ooh, he got so close to getting 1 shot off over there. I mean, you see Uthermal desperately scanning. Yeah.
Yeah.
You saw him desperately scanning because I think he was trying to pick off the observer so he could buy some additional time for himself to maybe get a couple Vikings out or maybe get a bunker up or 2. But just like that, the game ends. So it is a 2-base all-in, which, you know, like if you play on a map like Cactus, which is a very difficult map to play out in the, you know, over time or in the long haul against Terran, going for builds like this that just have like 1 big powerful punch is a smart thing to do. But I'm surprised that it looked, again, that easy for Lilbow.
Yeah, he was really flying ahead. And, you know, the state of his economy and how it goes on forward, but with how he powers it up so strongly, he gets to there just a little bit quicker than most people, which can really kind of throw these Terrans off guard.
I mean, gas first against a player like Lilbow, who's already so good when it comes to producing probes. You need to do a ridiculous amount of damage. And yes, he did a fair amount of damage, but I felt that there had to be like a small follow-up, which there wasn't. You know, like that second medevac drop, it didn't do that much. I kind of felt like maybe it would have been better, instead of picking up those units that he had in natural, I think he should just let them all die. But if you take down like 6, 7, 8 probes with you to the grave, I think you get more out of it than trying to save 2 Hellions, which didn't accomplish anything later on, and that medevac still died. And then you have 2, 3 empty Marines on the north side of the map, or, you know, like abandoned Marines that really won't do anything either. So I think it would have been better to just like sacrifice it for the greater good and try to drag down as many probes with you to the grave.
Do what you can. Do what you can, man. You gotta. Coda's gonna be our next map here between these 2. I'm happy it goes to all 3 maps because, again, you know, for me, these 2 are 2 of the biggest rising stars in the European scene right now. Lilbow's shown that with his WCS runs thus far, and Uthermal kind of keeps going up against all these really strong players, unfortunately, when he gets into WCS and stuff like that, that you can't really fault him too much for it.
Yeah, he's had a couple of okay runs at Gfinity tournaments as well, but never as far as he would have liked to go. Could make it through the qualifier, can win at least 1 series at the main event, but no quarterfinals, no semifinals. But I do truly believe in this Dutch Terran that once upon a time was a little ragey. I think he is going to go far. We're loaded into game number 3, which is on Coda. And as you guys can see, over here on the left top side of the map, I'm going to introduce my fellow Dutchie representing AT Gaming. It is Uthermal, also known as Maru Thermal.
Oh yeah, of course. You like some Widow Mines, man. Like some Widow Mines. And down to the bottom right-hand corner, we have our red Protoss representing Millennium. It is Lilbow. Now, to you, is it Lilbow or is it Little Bow? Because I heard people calling him Little Bow, and I think that's just weird.
Yeah, I actually think I started calling him Lil Bow Wow. I used to call him Lil Bo.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I think somebody brought up some Lil Bow Wow song, and then I was like, hey, Lil Bow. Lil Bow Wow, whippy-yo, yippee-yay.
Okay, yeah, that kind of makes sense.
Where my stock is at. No, that doesn't really work. Anyway.
It'll do. It'll do.
I used to be very jealous of Lil Bow. No, what was his name? Bow Wow Will. What is his name? The rapper? Lil Bow Wow, right?
You're asking me about rappers.
Ah, good point there, James. Good point. But he made a song with this girl called Yo-Yo.
Okay.
And I used to think Yo-Yo was like the cutest girl on earth.
Aww.
When I was 12.
Aww. That's delightful. That's cute.
I could sing it for you if you want, but I don't want to scare away all of our viewers, so I'll save it for a rainy day.
Okay, okay.
Ice is cool. No, just kidding.
Who were your, when you were that young, aside from that, who were your crushes, like, out of celebrities?
Yeah, there was this other singer. She was like Italian-American, Stacey Orrico.
The name kind of rings a bell. Not much, though.
Yeah, she was. I think she was very cute, and I think Britney Spears as well. I think
everyone went through that.
Yeah.
I liked Baby Spice from the Spice Girls.
Yeah, the Spice Girls never did it for me. I don't know.
No? No. There was plenty to choose from when it came to the Spice Girls.
That's true.
They were all different. They were all very different.
Emma was not bad.
Oh well. All right, let's get into this. What's going on? We really weren't paying much attention.
It's a cool opening over here by Uthermal as he's going for a gasless expand. Like, this is a very economic opening, even more economic than the Reaper expand. I like this opening, but Lilbow just scouted it with a very early probe scout, and I think that Uthermal's a little bit upset about that, because in the previous games, I don't think Lilbow scouted that early. He did scout on Cactus Valley, but he got unlucky because he scouted in the wrong direction. Anyways, we'll see how this one plays out. It's very nice for the pros to know you're playing as this opening, because you know there's nothing crazy early on. You don't really have to worry about eBay block. You don't have to worry about a Reaper, trying to pick off that probe that's going to wipe in a Nexus, because he can't possibly make a Reaper without gas. I'm very curious about the follow-up for Uthermal. He could follow up with 2 or 3 Rexes, which is very old school. But this is not the best map for it. Like on the Inferno pools or something, you would always do that because it's impossible to force field. This is not the easiest ramp to force field, but it's also not impossible.
Yep, it's quite wide. It is quite wide. Lilbow's actually going to send his Mothership core out towards the left-hand side. Oh, actually, he even finds the SCV. I thought maybe he was looking for that, but I mean, it showed itself anyway, so he's good to go. And Twilight Council, pretty fast down towards the bottom here. Out of the vision, very nicely placed.
That is a really quick Twilight Council. That kind of gives me the idea that maybe he's going to switch things up and he's just going to try to defend against a single Widowmine drop, and then he's going to try to counterattack. That is something that he actually did against Uthermal on Vani Research Station, because I still remember watching that game, and I felt that the game was going quite well for Uthermal, and he had everything in the right place. He had bunkers, he had Marauders on the way, and then he still died against Blink Stalkers, and I was just like, what? When I do this, I don't kill anything. What does Lilbow have that I don't have? So we'll see how he's going to play this out. It could, of course, just be a defensive Blink as well, because Blink is just great in shutting down drops and whatnot.
Oh, looks like we're going to have even more gates, though, go down here for Lilbow. As he's already added on 2. The third's coming down as well. So
it's totally trying to defend against the Widowmine pressure and then counterattack. So we're going to have to keep a close eye on this probe. It's very important for Lilbow that he doesn't lose this probe that's making his way across the map.
Yeah. Going to sneak on around the right-hand side, making it a little bit harder to actually spot.
A little bit of a misread over here by Uthermal as well, just blindly expecting... What is... What?
Oh,
what
the turrets.
What is going on? Is this a Cloak Banshee opening or something? What the hell?
That's kind of a good point. Is he? Oh my god.
What?
Unless he was just going to make a barracks there and start stuff, but that's less than expected. This is... Huh.
I'm so confused. I mean, it could be a Raven, I guess, as well. But I don't really know why you would do that. Oh, well, he's throwing up a bunker on the high ground. Does he know? Man.
What read did he get?
I have no idea.
The gas coming in at particular times before the Nexus?
I think this is... If he makes a tank there, that's really sick. He makes a tank!
Oh my god.
Wow. He must have a soul read on Lilbow over here. I'm not sure if it's going to be in time, though, because Blink is ridiculously quick. He's been chrono boosting out Blink like hell. All the games he's been focusing heavy on economy. I mean, Uthermal knows. How the hell does he know?
I mean, I can only assume he knows because his opponent, he probably plays him a lot on ladder and probably knows his kind of preferences on these kinds of maps.
Yeah, I think there you're spot on. Of course, he did misread with the missile turret. Lilbow is going to blink into the main base immediately, but he's going to be very unhappy to see that there is a bunker there. He might still go for it. The first tank is out. Where is he going to siege it? He's going to siege it on the high ground. So now he has to worry about the ramp. He has no SCV spooled. He's going to lose his bunker, and I think if he loses this bunker, he's going to lose the game.
Oh, a brilliant blink as well. He blocked off the SCVs even from getting towards that bunker, so it denies it from being prepared. Very, very well done. He was going to lose a few Stalkers for it, but the Marines got back into that second bunker, which was just in the nick of time.
Yeah, I mean, that second bunker is absolute saving grace over here. He's losing a couple of SCVs, but I don't think it's the end of the world. Don't lose the bunker, though, and he's going to end up losing it. He has one tank. The second tank is out, but I feel from this point on, Uthermal is going to lose more and more SCVs, and I know he's not going to be happy with this at all.
A pretty hard, well, not hard contain, but soft containers, forged from probes of started off behind this, so denying a lot of this economy and just transitioning on behind is very good. But here comes the Banshee. There's actually nothing to deal with the Banshee. He needs to... Does he need to recall? Wow. Where's his mothership core? Oh my god.
Okay, yeah, you're right. There is actually no detection whatsoever. This game is so wild. I saw there was a Banshee on the way, but I didn't see there was a Banshee already on the other side of the map. So now I kind of really like the position of Uthermal to just pull his orbital to the high ground and actually just rely on the tanks and now just let this Banshee do its thing on the other side of the map. Both players just taking heavy economic losses over here, but I feel that Lilbow is taking even worse losses. He's going for the suicide blink.
Oh, I'm not sure that's going to work out too well. He tried to blink onto one of the tanks, but there's plenty of Marines here to help out this. And he's even going to get the Oh, so close to getting the mothership core.
Of course it doesn't work out. That's why we call it the suicide blink, James.
Banshees now. There's two of them. He has no detection. There's two and he has no detection. He has to wait for cannons to finish.
Yeah, good luck.
Oh
These cannons are actually not even going to finish. He can just kill the cannon.
This is a sad sight here for Lilbow, who is unfortunately... I mean,
oh my God.
Uthermal has read him to the T.
Yeah, that was sick. Absolute sick soul read over here by Uthermal. And what a phenomenal job in sending his first Banshee across the map. Like you said, Lilbow must have done this build a couple of times against him on ladder or something.
Yeah.
Of course, like he did drop the missile turret, so in the start he was still worried like this could still be an Oracle, but when it wasn't an Oracle, I felt like he just knew exactly what kind of a blink aggression this was. And this was not, let me get my economy going and see if I can poke with Blink Stalkers on the other side of the map. This is like, no, I want to end the game with 4-gate Blink Stalker as quick as I can possibly get it.
And now, thanks to the second photon on cannon, he can actually see those units. So he's not really going to be able to find too many angles for damage. Maybe at the edges of assimilators, but even then, the vision... Oh, he got himself another probe. Really well done. He's just skirting on the edges.
Every probe matters so much right now. Of course, that contain is still going on, but there's no detection on the top side of the map. So this Cloak Bench is just going to be like, ha, I think it's time for you to go, sir, and give me back my natural. I believe that is my property.
Easy peasy.
Get off my lawn. That's what this Banshee just said.
Shoot him away with the brush. Well, he's going to claim this position pretty easily now thanks to that. And 3 siege tanks extra on the low ground now to complement the 4th one in the main is pretty brutal stuff. Not going to break that anytime soon.
Yeah, I guess for Lilbow right now, the only thing that is very nice for him is that this Terran army is also not extremely intimidating. Unless we're going to see some super weird pseudo 1-1-1 aggression. Yeah, I guess you kind of have to attack if you're Uthermal, because if you're going to sit back until... Ooh, a good snipe over there. Well, it was supposed to be a good snipe. It's still a good snipe. Because you can't really wait for Stim and Combat Shield or +1 or something. I think he's kind of have to go for a very old school, let's just call it a Puma attack, but then of 2 bases after a very weird early mid game. This is a bizarre game. I've never casted a game that has played out like this.
Yeah, not quite. It's the reads that Uthermal has been good, but despite that, he's still not in the most amazing of shape. It's still 51 workers against 39.
I hate casting Protoss games. It makes my race look so good, and when I play, it makes it look so weak.
Oh, it's just Lilbow, man. It's just Lilbow. Those Frenchies, they do pretty well for themselves.
Yeah, because like this game should have ended the moment there is a Cloak Banshee and there is just absolutely no detection on the way, and then there is a second Cloak Banshee. Like, how is Lilbow still in this game? How is he actually 13 workers ahead? Of course, he has killed a lot of workers as well. Like, Uthermal killed 25 probes, but Lilbow killed 20 SCVs, and he forced the orbital to go back to the high ground. You know, like right now, if the armies would clash, of course Uthermal's army is quite a bit stronger, but how do you march across the map with that army against a phenomenal... Lol, no vision.
Oh.
But like, how do you march across the map with an army that is as slow as unupgraded Marines, like no stim whatsoever? I don't think you can, so he's going to wait. But that gives Lilbow so much time again to, you know, go up to 3 bases, maybe even get charged, maybe get a Colossus. Like, I kind of wonder, like, I'm thinking, if I was the Protoss right now, what would I do with the information that I have? And I think I would go charge Immortal. I actually kind of think that that is a better idea than going Colossus. But
yeah, I mean, against the missed amount of siege tanks, you need to get on them quickly and actually start bringing them down fast. So
yeah, like Immortals will always be useful, and they will be good against those Marauders as well. And he already had the Twilight Console in place, so then he can still produce Immortals, and he can work on charge at the same time. And then maybe even like sneak in the Templar Archives later on for a couple of feedbacks on maybe a Medevac or 2, or this Raven that's obviously going to have a lot of energy. But he's going for Colossus instead, and I would not even dare to question Lilbow, so Everyone at home, take note. Don't listen to Ruddy. Listen to Lilbow.
Well, he started the Immortals, man. I mean, of course, that Robo Bay will be finished eventually, and he's going to have three Immortals is pretty good as the backbone. So what you were saying has got some validity.
Yeah, like the idea that I had behind it is that at least you can still build Immortals while also going up to charge and you know, maybe even a couple of feedbacks or maybe an Archon or two. While if you go Colossus, then you can't build Immortals anymore. So right now, the only thing that is strong is the Colossus that is in production. But if he would go for the other way, then he could build 2 units that are strong at the same time, whether it's an Archon or Charge Lots or Immortals. Now he only has 1. He's getting a lot of defensive cannons. I'm not sure how much I like the triple cannon. I don't think like he's that rich. I don't really like that.
Is this it for Lilbow Uthermal though? I mean,
yeah, this is super all in.
He's gonna have to try and do something with this army alone. It's quite the strong army, don't get me wrong, but if Colossi, or 1 or 2 Colossi end up popping out before he gets over the other side of the map, because the Stalkers right now are trying to buy time, most important.
Yeah, and he's doing a really good job with that. Unfortunately, he lost that Observer that was idling on the south side of that main ramp, because Lilbow would be, he's kind of dying for some high ground vision now. Just imagine the party that he would have if those Stalkers would blink into the main base. But I must say, Uthermal did leave a couple of units behind. He left a bunker and a tank behind. So these tanks are going to have to siege up in a good position. The Raven PDDs have to go down pretty much immediately. He's going to leapfrog with these tanks. Very curious to see how this one plays out.
Oh, he already got those first 2 tanks in a really good spot here. Some of them are actually unsieged as well at the back of this army, but he's actually going to destroy a good chunk of that army to start things off. He hasn't got to the back line of those siege tanks. What a brilliant little engagement there from Uthermal.
Yeah, it looked kind of promising for the Protoss at first, but and as soon as that Colossus died, great focus fire with the tanks over there. These Marines just shredding through those Zealots. They don't have any armor upgrades. These cannons that I was questioning actually help out a little bit right now, but the robotics facility is in a very awkward position, and it just died, and now he can't really make anything. Now he's starting charge, but I feel from this point on, there's just nothing that Lilbow can make anymore to win this game.
Yeah, he somehow have to warp in. So many Zealots have come in from both sides, and I don't think that's ever going to happen in this situation when your natural is being sieged and you have 1 Colossus left available to you as well. Here come the probes off the line, but Uthermal, wow, doubles Lilbow's supply here. Tries to warp in some Stalkers on the left-hand side and focus down the siege tanks, but it is not going to be enough. The reinforcements keep streaming forwards for Uthermal.
Really cool series. GG is called Uthermal. The Dutch Terran will advance to the 2nd round of the IEM Shenzhen qualifier of our 2nd stage. And he had to work hard for it, and it was a pretty wild series. Like, I think the moment you play this game, you just like, you look at the final screen, it's like, wow, okay, I guess that happened. Yep. And then you try to like recap the game, it's like, okay, this happened, you know, the Blink Stalker phase, my Banshees, and then you kind of want to watch the replay because you want to figure out how did this go worker-wise, you know, like where was I ahead, where was I behind. But it was a very cool game, and I truly wonder how this would have played out if Lilbow would have focused on getting Immortals and getting charged immediately instead of the Robo Bay. So like I said, he can keep building Zealots that actually means something, because Zealots with charge are 100 times as good as Zealots without charge. And his Immortal count, instead of having 3 Immortals, he could probably have 5 Immortals. I think it could be different, but of course, you know, the Marine numbers then are scary. But that's why the Zealots should come into play, or maybe even an Archon or 2 if he would have had time for it. But a very fun game, very fun series. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was good stuff. And good to see again those guys rematch each other, and Uthermal coming out on top. So
gets
really
his revenge.
Exactly, showing that he is not one to be pushed over. So at the moment in the bracket, we don't have too many updates. At the moment, Bunny was able to beat DMC. The little one, TLO, was able to beat Petit Drogo, and Targa was able to beat Mana. So that's quite a nice pickup for him. But other than that, not much more that we have available just yet.
My Protoss players are suffering over here. As soon as we have some updates about Hearthstone versus Elazer, we'll let you know. Because when I look at these round 2 potential matchups, the one that truly stands out for me is probably Hearthstone versus TLO, if Hearthstone is able to beat Elazer. And I think Hearthstone's PvZ is pretty damn solid right now, but Elazer does know about that, probably knows his style, so it wouldn't be an easy series. But yeah, probably on the south side, even though I want to give a shout out to the Panzer General himself, Goody, who's currently 1-1 against Snoot. But yeah, Targa versus Snoot, that happens around like 74 times a year, so I don't think we really have to cast that one. Then Happy Firecake versus the winner of Showtime Guru could be interesting, but I think TLO versus maybe Hearthstone is the one match that truly stands out for me.
Yeah, I think so too. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to a short break, and then when we're back, hopefully we get a round of 8 match from the winners bracket. So don't go anywhere, guys. More Intel Extreme Masters Shenzhen qualifier action coming very, very soon.